is Sandra and I will be presenting to you The Evolution of the Tennis Racket by Head. Tennis existed since the 12th century when French monks started to play jeu de paume, which means game of the palm, with a crude handball against the monastery walls or over a string across the courtyard. By the 14th century, the first racket, like in the shape we know today, was built in Italy, and it was a wooden frame with strings made out of gut and had a teardrop shape for the head. In the 1960s was created the first racket, which was made out of wood. Also, the handle of the racket was long. In 1967, the material of the racket was changed to steel, which was stronger but lighter than wood. Still, this racket had a long handle and a small head. In 1976, the first oversized racket was developed, which had a larger head, but the length of the racket stayed the same as the standard racket. The material was aluminum and was lighter than steel. In the 1980s, the material became stiffer but not heavier. This material was graphite and combinations with fiberglass and titanium. The mass was between 350 grams to 200 grams. Between 2003 and 2012, rackets were made with ultra-light material and an aerodynamic frame which were good for stronger serves. Recently we, Head, created a racket with piezoelectric materials which transform vibration or motion to and from electrical energy. The handle has a circuit board where the electrical energy is directed back to the piezoelectric ceramics in the frame, which stiffens the material. Forces and motion. The science behind the strings helps understand how spin effect works on the ball. The ball is for ca 5 milliseconds on the strings at the impact with the racket. The friction string and ball strings are important for the spin effect on the ball. The spin effect means when the player hits the ball with greater speed and makes it land into the court due to brushing movement and downward force applied on the ball. These balls are difficult to return and the player wins the point. The ball and the strings deform at the impact, but in 5 milliseconds, they recover the original shape. Less friction between the strings makes more flexible and allows them to move sideways easily. When the ball leaves the strings after the impact, the strings snap back and give a sideways kick to the ball through friction force, ball strings, and spin effect on the ball. At the contact ball strings, the strings deform the ball, and when the ball sides, the ball pushes away the main string. If the strings are looser, then the ball deforms less. Less energy is lost, and so the speed of the ball coming off the strings is higher. So, a great spin is produced at high friction ball string and low friction string. The looseness of the strings is adjusted with the tension in them. The force applied with the racket follows second law of Newton. F equals m times a. As the mass of the ball is not changing during the game, the speed or acceleration of the ball is produced with the racket. So, the speed of the ball is influenced by the quality of material of the strings in contact with the ball and tension in the strings. Major feature: the strings. The material of the strings affects the performance of the player. The strings are like the soul of the racket and they make contact with the ball and give the ball certain effect which can help the player win a game. Today, the strings are made of natural cow gut, combination of synthetics or polymers or hybrid materials like main strings, horizontal, of the synthetic, and cross strings which are vertical, of natural gut. Synthetic strings have a longer life than natural ones, but lower flexibility, comfort, and control. In 2006, International Tennis Federation did tests on a number of strings and found out that the polyester strings produced a hit more spin than nylon strings. Benefits and limitations of the head strings. Head string FXP power 16 or 17 is a hybrid of two nylon strings at multi-filament core of polyamide 66, which gives elastically and wrap of polyamide 6 monofilaments, each having a tree cluster of gel fibers for more comfort, power, and control. Benefits of this improvement in string. The player can reach power in-game and control over the racket. The strings are easy to install, comfortable and playable, and a good feel being easy on the arm. They have a strong spin potential. Limitations. These are the second most expensive after gut strings. Power and control are two of the most important from the design of the racket. Greater power means more speed into the game. Greater control is more precision to ace the shot. The technology behind the racket advances more and more, but the question is, if the tennis game will become over the time a competition between the racket's qualities and their prices will be possible to keep it as it was, a game between the sportive players. The balance between the players and technology advances need to be kept up. Prediction. The future racket could be a smart tennis racket which collects data about the player's shots and send it in the same time to a device with a touchscreen attached as at the strings. The device could collect data about the speed of the racket, type of shots, and spin applied on the ball, and could be connected to a smartphone via Bluetooth and synchronize their data there. The strategy and technique of the player could be improved on the court by following the feedback from the app.